Problem 1. W and Z are riding their bikes on a circulating pathway. So once I hear the word circulating, I'm immediately going to be drawing my chart right here to help me visualize. And being able to draw these graphs is actually really helpful. It's like a very important skill in solving these types of problems, especially in circulating tracks. But in all of our other types of problems, you've always met this requirement of being able to draw. So the same with circulating track problem. Okay, let's keep reading. They start at the same time, same place. Remember, I especially emphasized this on our last video. So those two formulas that we learned, it has to be on the same place and same time in order to be used. And they're going into opposite directions. So it's probably gonna be going this way and that way. Okay. This entire pathway, so its length is 2,400 meters. So 2,400 meters, and I'm going to highlight that. W needs 10 minutes to go around by herself. So to go around by herself, W needs 10 minutes. Let me highlight that. So W needs so on their first time meeting. So again, there could be like second times, third times, fourth times, but right now we're just focusing on the first time. Their first time meeting, W rode 1,440 meters. So on their first time meeting, W rode 1,440 meters. So number 1 is, what is W's speed? Well, to find speed, right, we need to have the distance divided by the time. So now it's just asking, where is the distance in time? Well, what are we given? We're given that the time of she going around the whole thing by herself and the distance of the whole thing, which is 2,400 meters. So we just have to divide that by 10 minutes. And then we have 240. So the answer to the first problem is already out. That's 240 meters per minute. All right. So that is what we have for the first problem, right? Okay. Now, let's see the second problem. How long did it take for W and Z to meet at the first time? So, we know that there is a total of 2,400 meters. And we know that on their first time meeting, W rode 1,440 meters. And we also know that her speed is 240 meters per minute. So if we were going to make them see the time of them meeting, really it's just the time of W riding that 1,440 meters. So again, the time of them meeting, ever since they left each other at their starting line, is the same as 1,440 divided by W's length, 240, because 1,440, again, from the problem, it says that it's how much she rode on their first time meeting. So then you would divide that by W's speed to find the time. Remember, this is the distance, this is the speed, and we're trying to find the time. So, this is some simple division. If it's hard for you, I recommend stacking in fraction form, right? They're all even numbers, 72, and this becomes 12, and eventually you figure it out, and it's 6. So 4,440 divided by 240 is equal to 6. So how long did it take for them to move for the first time? Well, the answer would be 6 minutes. Okay, now let's take a look at the next problem. So, how long will it take for Z to go around the pathway once by himself? Well, we're thinking about how long it will take for him to go around the pathway, and it's how long, which means we're trying to find the time. And in order to find the time, we just have to divide the distance by the speed of Z. And exactly what is the distance here? Well, it's how long it takes for him to go around the pathway once. The pathway in the problem, it says it's 2,400 meters. And they are dividing by his speed. So now we're trying to find the speed. But how exactly do we find the speed? Well, again, to find the speed, we need to have the distance divided by the time. So first we need to find the distance. Well, what distance do we have right now? Of course, we can't use 2,400, which will just be meaningless. We're trying to find the speed. But remember, we can always count on this part right here. When Z and W are coming down together to meet up at a certain point. So it's going to meet up. We know that out of the 2,400 meters that there is on the pathway, W herself rode 1,440 meters. So to find how much Z rode, we just have to subtract that. So we would do 2,400 divided by 1,440. Right, so one's place 0, this becomes a 3, this becomes a 6, and this becomes a 9. So 960 meters. 960 meters. Now we're trying to find the time. The time, well, over here we already know that how long did it take them to meet? Well, that would be just 6 minutes. So then now we have 960 divided by 6, right? So we do the division and we get 160. So the speed is actually slightly slower than W's. It's 160 meters per minute. Okay. Now we do division to find the time. Right, again, I'm going to put it in fraction form to those of my friends who aren't really confident in their dividing. So we divide that, right? You can both divide that by 10. 8 by 2, this is 120. This, by 4 would be 2. And this would be 30. And then there's 15. So 2,400 divided by 160 is 15. Okay. So how long will it take for Z himself to go around the pathway once? Well, that would be 15 minutes. Alright, so now we will be looking at the final problem. How long from their first meeting will there be to their second meeting? So this is when we need to focus on this drawing. And I'm probably going to bring it down so I can draw some more things. Yeah. So this is where they begin, okay? I'm going to name it starting line, S. So Z goes this way while W goes that way. Remember, it's a meetup problem. They go in different directions. And they meet right over here. Okay? So now W is going this way and Z is going that way. So now it's just saying how long it would take from this meeting to their next meeting time. Well, we know that their combined distance, remember, their combined distance is always 2,400 meters. That's the length of the whole track. Then we will divide that if you watched our Meet a Problem series. And if you haven't, again, I'll be posting their series link in the description down below if you want to go check it out, because we're going to be using all of their formulas in this series. So if you don't know that, you don't know this. So I really recommend you, if you don't know, go back and watch. Anyway, now there's their speeds combined. And we know that their speeds are 160 and 240. So 240 plus 160, right? 160 I found up here. So we know that, and we're trying to find the time. So that would be 2,400 divided by the sum of 240 and 160, which gives us 400. So our final answer would be 6, right? Or that's 6. So how long from their first meeting will there be to their second meeting? The answer is 6 minutes. So now, yeah, we finished all of these problems. Yeah, so it's not really hard. It's not a lot of difference from our meet up in catch-up problems, except it's just on a track. Of course, if you really find it hard, another way is always to break this part, imagine a cut right here and then turn it into a straight line, and that could be easier. So what is W speed? We just found the distance, the time, divided. How long did it take them to meet? Well, we just take the distance and the speeds and divided. How long will it take for Z to go around the pathway once by himself? We took the distance divided by the speed, but the speed we use the distance divided by the time. Just the time was different, but their speed never changed. And especially the fourth problem I need to emphasize. How long from their first meeting will there be their second? Well, I really drew this graph here. And then you see this little flag to show that that's where they met. And then I just continue with arrows to show that they kept going. Using the math from above, I was able to find that there was 6 minutes. So thank you for watching, and see you in our next video about problem